Hey, what is up there, guys? This is Cobb, and oh yes, it is time to finally get to discussing Final Fantasy XIV, dude. Final Fantasy XIV, Final Fantasy Online. It feels like this is the game that's on the tip of everybody's tongue recently. I know that Belial has been making a lot of videos about it, and a lot of people have been getting more and more interested in Final Fantasy XIV, and, well, I guess it's just the kind of thing that happens when, you release an expansion pack for World of Warcraft and then don't release a content patch for 252 plus days. So it's not surprising to me at all that we are seeing the zeitgeist, the massive MMO players take notice to other MMOs that are also doing fairly well right now. And Final Fantasy happens to be the front runner of one of those. So Sophie and I decided to hop into the game, get some first impressions, and just see what's going down with FF. A couple of disclaimers. We only are level 19 right now, so there's a lot of the game that we haven't touched on yet. Yenny, what are you doing to me? Also, this is the third fucking time that I have actually put time into this game to try to get my head into it a little bit. First time I made it to level 3, I gave up. I was like, man, you know what? This isn't for me. It's a little bit too Asian, you know what I'm saying? Which, it's not racist at all. It's not racist at all, right? It's just a stylistic kind of... What is this, dude? I'm being savage right now, man. It's just difficult to get away with the style, and we're going to get into that a little bit more, but right now we've made it to level 19, and honestly, dare I say, cue the fucking dislikes, I'm enjoying the fuck out of this game, dude. Something has happened where I'm actually able to get over a couple of mental hurdles and just kind of relax into the game a little bit. So yeah, let's fucking talk about it, man. I've got some strengths and weaknesses and some pros and cons that I want to share with you guys and see what you guys think about these. But I also want to, first of all, begin with some middle ground points. Some things that I think are very, very important to cover and very, very important to know if you are considering looking at the game at all. But are neither pros or cons, right? They can kind of fall into either category, and yeah, it's really up to you what you make of these. So the first one is that this game is extremely aesthetic. It's extremely aesthetic, man. There's a big, big focus on what your character looks like. We're going to get into character creation in just a little bit in the pros section. But I believe transmog is called glamour in this game. Is it? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but the way your character looks is a big, big fucking part of the game. But not just that. Graphically, it's just nice. It's good. The models are clean. The textures are great. The world design is awesome. And the spell effects are big. They are big and aesthetic, man. They're huge. They're very, very in your face, And the reason I'm mentioning this right now is because, again, it's neither a pro nor a con. It's more of just a style thing. Some people really like it. Some people like, to be... kind of getting access to abilities that are kind of big and rambunctious and colourful and in your face and can be seen from fucking across the map fairly early on in the game, and some people really, really like that. And some people kind of feel like it's just kind of cheesy, it's too Asian, it's too anime, things are too big and whatever, Maybe you can just turn your particle graphics down a little bit in your settings, so maybe it's something that you can just kind of get around, but it's something to bear in mind all the same, I think. The next thing you gotta know is that this game, if you're coming from a game like World of Warcraft, which, let's be real, if you're playing FF, right, the chances are you're fucking coming from World of Warcraft, or you have played WoW at some point in the past. Yeah, this game has a much, much slower, casual pace, where it's okay to take your damn time in this game, okay? It doesn't have that hard competitive edge like World of Warcraft does. You're making choices. Again, this kind of ties into the whole aesthetics thing, right? Do what you fucking enjoy in this game, and you'll be fine. Really. There is no set in stone end game that you're trying to rush towards. Okay, the leveling is a big, big part of this game. There are many cutscenes. You really should follow the story. I'm getting that recommendation all the time when I watch, other videos of, content creators. 10 things you must know about Final Fantasy. Take your damn time with the story. Don't rush through things. There's very much this kind of lax attitude, right? And again, this one is neither here nor there. It's a pro and a con for some people. Some people like that really competitive edge to the MMOs where you're competing all the time with other players and it's all about, look, be good in arena or fuck off out of PvP, right? If you're not gonna raid, you know, on like a mythic level or like hit up mythic dungeons, don't even bother. Literally don't even fucking waste your time. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's some people in WoW who get past that and they just say, you know what, I'm gonna play the game my way and I'm gonna focus on transmog or this or that. And it's like, that's fine, but then it feels like you're missing out on certain content, you're missing out on certain achievements, unless you're willing to like buy those achievements with fucking gold and just buying WoW tokens and pay to win shit, you know? But this game, there's something in the air. There's something in the air that tells you at all times, you know, while you're leveling and whatever, while you're interacting with other players, just fucking relax a little bit. Just relax, man. Shit ain't a race, content ain't going nowhere. And yeah, it's just a bit of a culture shock, honestly. Even now, I haven't played WoW seriously, honestly, for like 4 years. You think that, by the way, you guys fucking comment that I like stopped playing the game last week. But it's been like 4 or 5 years, yeah, it's been like 3.5, 4 years since I actually really actively played WoW, you know? I dipped into Classic for a little bit. But even then, even with such a long time from going between like WoW and FF, for me, it still feels like a culture shock, man. I'm so used to MMO, like playing an MMO that feels like everything is a race. You have to be good at everything. Everything is competitive. And it's just nice to not be wrapped up in that, dude. Like, it's really, really nice to just not get wrapped up in that. So for me, this is a pro. For some people, maybe neither here nor there. The next middle point, and this one is really, really quick, that is simply that the UI is extremely customizable. If you remember the WoW add-on, it might still exist, called Move Anything. It allows you to, well, move anything in your UI, move your action bars, move individual icons around on your action bar, change where your bags appear in the UI, the minimap, everything, dude. Change the scale, change the opacity of things. It's a fantastic add-on. Final Fantasy has that built in. That's real nice. It means that me, as, you know, a WoW vet stuck in his ways when it comes to MMOs and UI layout, I was able to change my UI immediately to resemble a WoW UI, you know, with my health bar up in the top left side, you know, slightly increase the size of my minimap a little bit, all of that good shit, you know. I even changed where, like, quest text pops up and my quest tracker pops up and stuff like that, so it's all very WoWified, you know, and that helped me feel a little bit more comfortable as I got into this kawaii new universe. I can't believe I just used the word kawaii, dude. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm already getting infected, see? But yeah, those are the middle points that you gotta know before we get into what I would consider at least pretty concrete strengths and weaknesses. So, let us begin. So I'm going to begin with the strengths, just because I have more strengths than weaknesses. Quick spoiler. And the first strength is straight up community, dude. Jesus. I've been in this game for 3 days. It already has more community than I've seen in WoW in like the last 12 months, you know, in which I actually played the game somewhat actively, you know. Dead guilds are everywhere in WoW for people who just evacuated from the game and just fucking left. But most importantly, there's no fucking Cross-Realm, right? Cross-Realm, let me tell you something, dude. I remember when Cross-Realm launched, right? I think it was like right at the end of Wrath, or maybe it was like very, very early into Cataclysm. It was something around there. And I remember thinking to myself, I didn't say anything at the time because I was just a little slag who was too, you know, self-conscious and didn't want people to look at me and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to fucking say anything about it because I thought, well, Blizzard know better than me, right? Blizzard know better than me. People seem to be excited about Cross-Realm. People were accepting of it. Oh, it's gonna save these low-pop servers. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that. It's gonna make, you know, we're gonna get the Dungeon Finder queue is gonna be a thing, and it's gonna be fast, and all this quality of life, you know? I had this fucking pit in my stomach. As soon as Cross-Realm became a thing in World of Warcraft, it was no longer World of Warcraft, dude. There was no fucking world anymore, dude. It became universe of Warcraft. And all those people, all those familiar names, all those acquaintances that you used to remember, you know, your realm's kind of go-to enchanter, fuck that guy, you're never going to see him again. That guy in your server who you always recognized as, you know, being that go-to guy for a certain profession, never going to see him again. That guy who you'd always recognize as being the first guy to get gladiator weapons, you know, and you'd always, you know, you'd always partake in duels with this guy. You'd never add him as a friend, but you always respected his skill as a PvPer, and you'd look up to him as someone to aspire towards on your realm. He always had better gear than you, etc., etc. Yeah, you're never going to see him again either. He's gone. You know, Crossrealm fucking murdered and mutilated WoW's goddamn community, dude. It was... If I could go back in time, dude, and change one fucking thing with WoW, I think it would just be destroying Crossrealm. Straight up. I think Crossrealm was a fucking horrible idea. It was very, very short term. It was very, very narrow-sighted. And it just ended the WoW community point blank. I don't think I added a single person to my friends list on Battle.net since what the fuck? Basically, since Crossrealm, I haven't added anybody to my friends list because you just don't meet people in WoW. You don't fucking meet people in WoW anymore. You can really go out of your way to do it. You can, but Jesus, man, it's hard. It's fucking hard. Like, all the friends I made in WoW were basically through Guild and before Crossrealm became a thing, you know? So that's just more of a little fucking side tangent. Yeah, Final Fantasy doesn't have that shit. It doesn't have this goddamn Crossrealm nonsense. And more importantly, there's something in the air, right, with Final Fantasy. And again, this is just from a few days of playing, dude, and I can already kind of smell this, right, as you're walking around in game. The players actually believe in their game. And they believe in their developers. And World of Warcraft doesn't fucking have that, man. And I'm comparing this game to WoW a lot, but whatever, that's fucking inevitable. Like, of course I'm going to do that. I played WoW for like 11 years or some shit. So that's going to happen pretty much throughout this video. The World of Warcraft community fucking hate the developers. They actually hate them. And they have hated them for a long fucking time. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. It's getting worse every day, you know, and it's like, man, and you're like, developers aside, there's just something there's something friendly going on with Final Fantasy Online, Final Fantasy XIV, you know. Yes, there's a bit of a prostitution problem, okay, granted, right? Bunny-eared e-grills all over the... You know, it's a dude behind the keyboard, but there he is, squatting naked in fucking... Laminza? I forget the name of that goddamn city now, but it's around the Aetheryte Stone. There's just prostitution all over the fucking place, but what are you gonna do, right? That's the price that you pay for having a tightly knit community. Fuck me. Honestly, the shit's hilarious. Yeah, get people there playing. Man, there was some motherfucker last night playing the Pokemon theme tune on his goddamn harp, right? So he's goddamn strumming away at this goddamn harp, like, way! Everyone's dancing around him and shit, everyone's going fucking crazy, everyone's like clapping when he's done with the song, and then everyone goes about their day, and it's like, wow, man, I haven't seen like a little moment like that in WoW. I can't even remember the last time I saw a little organic moment of kind of semi-RP, everyone just having some lulz, you know, in World of War. I mean, having some lulz? What the fucking hell am I talking about, dude? I'm talking like in goddamn 15 again, you know? But I don't know, dude. People are just nice. People are just nice, dude. Like, I've joined a couple of instance duties so far, as they call them in Final Fantasy. A couple of instances where you're just put in a queue finder. It's like, everyone says hello. You know? People ask if you're ready to pull. You know? Once the instance or the dungeon or the duty or whatever is done, people say GG and leave a smiley face. Well played, everybody. It's like, oh my god. Like, in WoW, it's like you leave so fucking... The moment you get your XP, man, you're gone from a dungeon, you know? Especially low-level one. Who gives a fuck? You're never going to see these people again. I'm out of here, you know? It's just not like that in FF, man. And it's... It's sad that that's such a positive, but it's such a positive because of its absence in World of Warcraft. You know what I'm saying, man? Community, man. Community. And I'm mentioning this one first because it's the biggest thing. And for me, I think it's... I've got a sense... that it's the biggest reason that people are leaving World of Warcraft and jumping to Final Fantasy. So there it is. So the first weakness I want to touch on is very, very simple. It's to do with the combat. It's to do with the slower pace of the combat. Now, the global cooldown for abilities in Final Fantasy XIV is 2.5 seconds. In WoW, it's only 1.5 seconds, I believe, unless it's been tweaked, you know, since I tuned in last. But 2.5 seconds, man, that's quite long. That's not actually my problem with the combat, however. This is kind of a very common misconception. Oh, the combat's slow because of the GCD, ruffle them out. Well, not really. You have a lot of abilities that are off the global cooldown. You're kind of spamming abilities on a rotation. You're spamming your global cooldown abilities, but at the same time, you have a lot of stuff that's kind of triggering off the GCD, and mobility options that are usable off the GCD, you know? So you're hitting plenty of keys. That's not the goddamn problem. The problem is it appears that hardwired into the game is a fixed amount of deliberate server delay and server lag. What do I mean by that? It seems like no matter how good your fucking internet is, if you hit an instant cast ability and you know it's like a hit scan ability that, let's say, it should go off immediately. It's like a dot or something like that, right? Or like a Hunter's Arcane Shot in WoW. You hit that ability, 0.5 seconds later, the ability will go off and actually deal damage. Consistently, right? And it feels like everybody has this same lag. Again, it's built in. And it's something that it takes a lot of getting used to, at least, and is too off-putting for most people. For a lot of people at most or at worst, you know? For me, again, maybe it's just because I haven't played WoW in so long and haven't played competitive PvP in WoW for so long that I was able to finally, you know, my third time trying out this game over the span of 5 years, I was finally able to kind of just get past it and get over it and get used to it, you know? And it just kind of became, it's already becoming the norm to me now. It's kind of whatever. As long as everybody's on that level playing field of having that kind of built-in latency, then fine, I suppose. You can kind of put up with it. But it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel crisp. The abilities themselves do feel impactful, by the way. It's not that. Again, the animations for the abilities and the spell effects and stuff like that all feel powerful and fantastic and impactful when you push the button. But there is that 0.5 second delay, like I said, and it gives this kind of sluggish feeling to the combat. And yeah, for me, the first 2 times I played, this was a major drawback. It was really hard for me to get over. WoW's combat is fucking amazing. It really is. And I didn't appreciate it enough until I actually tried out other MMOs. Elder Scrolls Online being an example. But a bunch of, Final Fantasy, a bunch of other MMOs have this issue where their combat just can't compare to WoW's, dude. WoW's combat is so snappy and so impactful. The damage numbers look amazing when they pop up when you crit. But more importantly, you press an instacast ability like Arcane Shot or Fire Blast or whatever, and bam! It just happens immediately, and that just feels crispy. Final Fantasy doesn't have that. Again, this is kind of built in lag that everyone is subjected to, so it's not just you. It takes a lot of getting over. And I wouldn't begrudge anybody for taking a long time to get over this or being put off by it completely. So next up, I'm going to cover a couple of strengths back to back now because they're both kind of smaller strengths, but they're definitely worth mentioning. The first one is the character creation. The character creation in FF is honestly fucking awesome. It's awesome. It's really good. I mean, again, it's extremely Asian. It's the extremely Asian aesthetic, right? And again, we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But the character creation is fucking awesome, man. The hairstyles. Are you kidding me, dude, with these goddamn hairs? I've never been so tempted to play a goddamn little bunny-eared creature in my life, man. And this has come from someone who made an undead Destrolock for 11 years, you know what I'm saying? We didn't go down that road eventually. I resisted temptation to go full weeb mode. Okay, it really wasn't that tempting. I'm quite happy with the way my character looks, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the character creation is fucking awesome. Moreover, just kind of little extra tidbit that's really important to know. One character can play all classes in this game. You don't have to level alts, man. You don't have to level a warlock and a mage and then a fucking, oh, well, you know what, I want to play a paladin. Well, I guess I'm leveling from, 1 to whatever. Or I'm just buying a level boost because, fuck. But yeah, your one character can actually learn to play as all classes, right? As all classes. I'm not sure how this actually works mechanically yet, but I know that it's doable, and I know that people do this shit all the time, So you can play whatever the hell you want on one character, right? So, yeah, do that if you're playing the game. Or just bear that in mind if you're planning on maybe trying the game out, man. If you're not enjoying your current class, just fucking level it. Just level it, right? Because you can always just change things up. There's the game unfurls. And the next kind of minor strength, but honestly not that minor, kind of extremely relevant, especially again when compared to World of Warcraft, is that content appears to virtually never be out of date. Now, there's a small kind of caveat with this, and that's that the first 30 levels are reportedly the weakest section of the game. This isn't really that unusual, because when a new MMO comes out, it tends to be a bit rougher around the edges. The devs are still kind of finding their rhythm a little bit. Their vision for the game isn't fully realized just yet, So you kind of get zones that are a little bit... They're not the developer's best work. You kind of get a lot of quests and a lot of cutscenes that aren't voice acted, for example, which I'm expecting that's going to change because people go crazy about the story in this game and the leveling experience in this game. So I'm kind of stoked to see what things become. But the first 30 levels are a little bit shaky, a little bit wobbly. They kind of show their age a little bit. It's still way better, by the way, than WoW's questing. Way fucking better than WoW's lower level questing, just to clarify. But the point I'm really getting at is content appears to never go out of date. It's not like fucking WoW, where goddamn you go to Outland and then Wrath of Lich King and all this kind of... And I know like the leveling patterns and leveling paths and whatever have all changed in WoW since I played. But Wrath of the Lich King and TBC and stuff like those things are so far behind now in the narrative of WoW and the current expansion's narrative that they're fucking virtually just not worth doing anymore unless you're just going back for a nostalgia trip. Like if you're a new player, dude, and you decide, oh, well, I'm going to go to Pandaria, it's like nothing makes any sense. Nothing. None of the cutscenes mean anything to you. What the fuck? Who's this Garrosh motherfucker, It's like... Final Fantasy doesn't seem to have that problem. It doesn't seem to actually have that issue. Things seem to have been kept cohesive. And again, it's because they have this real focus on the player themselves being the centerpiece of the story, right? So that allows for a level of continuity that WoW just doesn't have, because WoW is very much focused on you being a little adventurer or a unnamed champion that's just kind of following Sylvanas around or following Thrall around for an expansion or whatever, you're following these great NPCs around and you're just kind of, come champion, we must face the elemental lord Ragnaros now. And it's like, okay, well here I go. And then the next expansion, like, you don't even have to be there, in WoW. So the narrative kind of runs away from you and runs away from Blizzard. And it leads to vast swathes of content becoming very, very quickly narratively out of date and kind of irrelevant to knowing what's going on in the story in the current expansion, Not an issue in FF, so that's kind of a good thing, man, and I don't think that can really be overstated. So the next weakness I want to get to, and yes, this is a weakness, I watched a couple of videos recently talking about, everyone who's fucking playing WoW right now is only not coming to Final Fantasy because they don't like weebs, and that's just an excuse, they're just clinging to their game, and they're being low-key racist. I've heard some people say that, it's just desperate, they're just being, derisive to Final Fantasy players and calling them weebs and trying to be fucking edgelords and stuff. No, dude, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, okay? If you're not used to playing games of an Asian style and of an Asian persuasion, which I am not, it's a fucking culture shock, man. To be walking around in a capital city, you see some big fucking muscly, burly looking bastard, okay, with some huge fucking great accent stuff, oh my god, looks so bad. And then next to him you see a bunch of naked cat grills dancing and whoring like it's fucking flea bottom. Right, on a Saturday night. It's just bizarre. It's just crazy. There's also a race, I forget its name now, but it's like gnomes, only they look a lot more like children, and they got like fat heads, and they just look bizarre. They just look like children, dude. And I don't understand why anybody would ever play these things. Some people do. Some people fucking love them, I guess. I could never understand why people play gnomes in WoW. That stuff's always fucking perplexed me. Why do you want to play a fucking gnome? Is there something wrong with you? Like, there has to be something wrong with you, dude. But it feels like there's a lot more of that in Final Fantasy that's just strange. It's just strange, man. It's a culture shock, right? But not even that, just the way that kind of cutscenes are handled and some of the mannerisms of the characters and the emotes, while they're all fantastic and extremely emotive, and easy to follow and and what would you call it? Like, there's just a lot of character to the game, and there's a lot of artistic style to the game and stuff like that, and that's all great. But it's very Asian. It's very goddamn Asian. It just is. And that is difficult to get over, man. It is difficult to get over. If you're someone who's, like, not into anime, right? And you just don't play, like samurai games aren't really your thing, and maybe you didn't play, you've never played, like, an Asian MMO before, like Boob and Soul back in the day, and shit like that. It's just fucking hard, man. It's hard to get away with the different atmosphere in the game, and the different art direction in the game, and all of those things, and this kind of ties into everything, It ties into how the abilities are so big and anime-like, and colourful, and really, really out there when it comes to, like, the graphics and stuff like that. It also ties into how it's almost impossible to have an unattractive female character. They all just look like goddamn waifus, And also, like, 80% of the hairstyles on all of the male characters are extremely hot. You look like a goddamn anime villain. You look like Pegasus from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what I'm saying? The straight, sleek hair, and, like, no one looks like that ever in real life, but in anime it's the norm. It's like, you can find some hairstyles that look, fairly normal, I guess. Like some man bun action and stuff like that, but it is a lot to get past. It's a lot to get past, man, and I'm still trying. I'm not totally over it yet, but at the same time, now that I'm actually getting into the story, it's getting easier and easier to suspend disbelief for, I think is the correct term, right? And the last point that I want to cover is, again, a strength, and it kind of ties back into one of the first points that I covered, talking about the slower and more kind of casual pace to the game, in which taking your time is completely fine. There are all the cutscenes that you should watch and all of that kind of stuff. And that is that the leveling and the questing experience, it's not something you should feel compelled to blaze through. The game doesn't fucking begin at max level in this goddamn game. This game is a goddamn RPG in its own right, Again, I'm not even past level 30 yet. So for me, like, a lot of people who play the game and are more experienced with the game would already be saying, like, oh, this guy doesn't know nothing yet. He hasn't seen how the story's going to develop and how, the expansions really build on what they've what they put in place, for the early game experience. But even right now, the leveling and the way quests are delivered with kind of staggered dialogue, and there's some cutscenes with voice acting and stuff like that, even in the early game, it's like, even that is just much, much better than WoW. It just fucking is. Okay, this is one of those things that no one can fucking argue with, so I don't give a shit what anybody says. The leveling experience in Final Fantasy, it doesn't feel like a leveling experience, and that by default makes it better. It feels like you're just playing an RPG. You're picking up quests, you're meeting people on the road, you've got some gathering quests, you've got world quests and world events popping up that you can partake in. And even if you're too high level for them, there's like a level scale back feature where you just click a button and it will downscale your level. Like, if it's a level 10 event and you're level 18, it will downscale your level to, like, level 12. So, it's like a level playing field, and you can't just one-shot the world event. And your experience will also scale with that, too. So, it's like, your XP reward for completing it will match the XP reward for a level 18 world quest, And not just that, but you actually give a fuck about the characters, man. Which is weird. It's weird, dude. For MMO, like, you don't really care about anybody but, like, your faction leader and maybe, like, Thrall. In this game, the characters seem to actually give a fuck about you, because you're kind of the centerpiece of the story in this goddamn game, I don't even know how to explain it, dude. I don't know why it feels like you're allowed to take your time with this game, and you feel like you need to rush in WoW. I think it's just, it's just kind of ingrained in the player culture of the game. There's something about this game that just allows you to breathe, watch every fucking cutscene, take your damn time, right? Don't fucking rush it. Pay attention to the story. There are even features, actually, where you can watch back previous cutscenes while in the game to get caught up on the story. So if you take, like, a month away, you can always come back, rewatch the cutscenes, get your head back in the game as to where you were in the story and continue on from there. And again, it's really not surprising me. It's not surprising me at all to be hearing more and more about this trend. I don't know how true it is. That people are leaving WoW for Final Fantasy, but if it is as true as some people are saying, then it really doesn't fucking surprise me at all. WoW is an aging population. People are fucking tired, okay? People don't want to be hammering an MMO competitively after they come home from a full day of work. Some people do. Some people it's their thing. But WoW is so focused on the competition side of things and the being good at the game side of things and all of this. It's like, man, you come to FF, right? You hop on over to FF. Dude, you can just chill and enjoy playing the game. That's it. Okay? No fucking pressure. None of that shit. It's like a retirement home. It's like a retirement home for MMO players is the way I can put it, you know? You can just sit back and relax and enjoy the fucking game. And, yeah, you know, back to my original point, the leveling is part of that. There's no waiting around to start the game at endgame. There's no rushing towards the endgame. So, that's just a goddamn... It's just a goddamn breath of fresh air, you know? Okay, so I've actually rambled on for a long, long fucking time. I probably had to loop the goddamn footage in the bottom right of the screen, but whatever, dude. I'm just going to throw this damn video out there, see what you guys think, man. Maybe some of you guys agree. Maybe most of you haven't even fucking tried this game. Maybe most of you tried this game and thought, man, what the fuck is this weeb shit? And left immediately, like I did the first 2 times that I tried to play it. It took me a couple of times, again, you know, to actually get to this point where I'm level 19 and I'm still interested in playing. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Feel free to just fucking dislike bomb this video because, you know, that's, again, man, maybe I just have like a really negative fucking opinion of the general WoW player and it's hard for me to shake, but it's hard to say how much the decline of the WoW community is thanks to Blizzard. Blizzard making people resentful, Blizzard introducing cross-realm and all of that kind of shit. So I won't fucking rag on people too goddamn hard, you know, for being all salty and defensive and shit like that. But I'll just leave it there, man. I'm actually thinking of making a video sometime soon, by the way, to address the comments that constantly on a weekly basis that I totally understand, okay, I totally fucking get it, that are always asking me, you know, when am I returning to WoW? When am I coming back to WoW? TBC's out. Why aren't I playing TBC? What the fuck's going on? What happened to the montages? Oh, this is the fake Cobrak. He's being inauthentic. He's like this and that and the other thing. Is like, dude, I've never been less authentic than I was when I was fucking forcing myself to goddamn play a WoW for like those 6 months. Before I quit that time for like 1.5 years, man, to just get the fuck away. But my plan is to potentially just make a video talking about why I am not, at least right now, and have no plans at all, or temptation at all right now to return to World of Warcraft. Like, it is anti-tempting. Seriously, boys, it's fucking anti-tempting, you know? So again, I don't hold these comments against anybody. At the end of the day, we get way fucking less views than we used to, and you know, the likes of Cobrak 17, Cobrak 18 still get like 1,000 odd views a month. So a lot of people are just getting recommended my older videos. They check out our newer content and see like what the fuck happened to the WoW content, and they drop a comment asking me to come back to WoW. It's like, whatever, man, it's not a big deal. I can ignore these comments. It's fine. I can't answer all of them. It's just physically not possible, and it's just psychologically torturous to answer all of them. So I apologize for that, but I kind of don't. And I understand where people are coming from, man. They don't know any better. They ain't gonna see this video and see me talking about how little interest I have in WoW, you know? But I'm considering making a video talking about it anyway, just to kind of iron those things out and really put them out there to anybody who will fucking listen. But yeah, going off on tangents now. Cheers for watching, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all liked this video. And even if you didn't, hope you didn't dislike this video. But if you did, well, you know what? That's fucking fine as well, man. Like what you want to like. And, yeah. Enjoy whatever MMO it is you want to play. Even if it is a sinking ship like World of Warcraft. Straight up. Cheers for watching, guys. I'm going to catch all you guys. Just have a later. God damn it.